It's an honor just to be nominated.
A 2022 finalist for the Best College Radio Station Marconi Award, and the only community college radio station in the nation in the category.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
This is the award-winning 90.3 WHPC HD Garden City.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Play WHPC.
And available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeart, and on the WHPC app.
90.3 WHPC.
Some Ray Anthony to get us going this morning. The Peter Gunn theme, written by Henry Mancini. The show is still on, by the way. It's on MeTV Monday mornings at 4 a.m.
What is?
The show Peter Gunn. I know you've never seen it, but it's pretty.
I didn't know it was a
it's
show.
pretty advanced for its time. You know, Peter Gunn. His real name is Peter Gunn. The show, but he has a hot girlfriend especially for the '60s. You didn't see.
I'll take your word for it.
So anyway, brother, sadness this weekend. Sadness.
It was a
Anger.
really good sports weekend, brother.
Anger.
Except for the Mets.
My heart is broken.
The Jets won. The Giants won. The Yankees are cruising to the playoffs. And the Mets,
Well, the Mets
had to let everybody down.
Yeah, they did. They first of all, they had to at least win one out of the two.
Wait, did you introduce us, brother?
No, I didn't get to them.
Introduce
I'm
us.
so angry. Anyway, this is from the press box right here on 90.3 WHPC. We are part of the Sports Talk family. Sports Talks every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., and then an additional show on Tuesdays from 11 p.m. to midnight. We're on every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This show becomes a podcast later. I am Rob Leonard. He is award-winning sports writer Tim Leonard. And
This is how I know you're upset, brother, because I have to take control of the show. That's how I know that the Mets have ruined your October already. Your October is ruined.
First of all, they had their three best pitchers pitching. At least one of them should have won.
Clearly the three best. And well, here's the thing. All right. It almost didn't matter that they lost the first two games.
No, you had to win one.
Because they only needed to win one.
Right.
Because, first of all, if they would have just won one game, both teams, they'd be tied right now going into the final three games of the season, but the Mets would have had the season series advantage.
Right.
Because there's not going to be, a Red Sox-Yankees Bucky Dent game if they finish tied. No. It's whoever wins the season series, that's the team that wins the division. So there wasn't going to be a dramatic anything. It was just, all right, you won more games than them, fine. You're the division champion.
Yep.
So the Mets only had to win one game to do that. Because you have to figure, well, I guess you don't have to figure, but the Mets are playing the Nationals and the Braves are playing the Marlins. Figure both teams are going to win at least 2 out of 3, if not sweep.
You hope.
All right? But as of right now, the Braves' magic number is 1.
That's right.
So unless the Mets sweep, they're done. They have to win all 3 games against the Nationals. All the Braves have to do is win 1 game against the Marlins.
Yep.
And they are the National League East champions. And more importantly, will avoid the Dodgers in the National League Division
Series.
Series.
I'm not worried about that as much.
Yes,
brother.
you should be.
Well, I'm not. I'll
the
tell
Dodgers
you why.
Are really good.
Because I still think we have 2 of the best pitchers in the league. I like Chris Bassett a lot.
The Dodgers have really good pitchers, too,
yeah,
including Julio Urias, who is the National League ERA leader.
Okay.
Lefty, who doesn't allow many hits at all.
Okay, well,
Just as good as DeGrom or Scherzer.
I know, but this was something we looked forward to for the last 2 weeks. We said this is the most important series of the season. The Mets, who were in first place almost the entire run of the season. This reminds me of a little bit, brother.
I don't know.
When the Mets lost in '85. Now, there's no wild card back then. If there was a wild card, the Mets would have been in it. Wouldn't have mattered. But they lost by 3 games.
I genuinely have no recollection of that whatsoever.
85. If you're a Mets fan, you do.
I'm not a Met fan, so there you go.
So they
what
lost.
happened? Tell us, brother.
St. Louis won the division back when it was the NL East when they were in it, and the Mets lost by 3 games for the season. And they played great in 85. The 85 is the year maybe they should have won it all.
Right before 86.
Well, it led to 86 because they knew after 85 they said, "Come on, we should have won this," and then it led to 86. So, but I'm just as a Mets fan, and just really disappointed. I'm sad also because one of these guys should have done it. DeGrom should have done it, and DeGrom's previous game he didn't have it.
DeGrom hasn't pitched very well. He hasn't been DeGrom for his last 4 starts.
No, and I'm worried.
But he was good. He was good against the Braves. He gave up a couple of home runs, and that happens. But he has not been the dominant guy. I think he struck out 11 against the Braves too, but he didn't shut them down. If you strike out 11, you should be giving up either no runs or 1 run, or that tells me that obviously you're around the strike zone. But it also tells me that you're dominating hitters. But you're not dominating hitters if you're giving up a couple of home runs.
Yeah.
Home runs don't happen by accident.
Sometimes they do.
It's rare.
I'm waiting for someone to throw a meatball to Aaron Judge.
So am I.
So we get number 62. So that person could be in the records book along with Judge.
Jack Curry, a person who's been on the show, first of all, who I respect and admire, is very good
friend of the show,
baseball reporter for the Times, and is now an analyst for the Yes Network. He made a great point the other day. He said, "Who was the pitcher who gave up Mark McGwire's 60-second home run?"
I don't know.
Exactly. So this whole thing about the pitchers don't want to give it up because they don't want to be remembered is being so overplayed.
Yeah, but Al Dowling was the guy.
Yeah, but that was a milestone
for
home
Hank
run
Aaron.
for Hank Aaron to break Babe Ruth's record. That was a real milestone home run. And
this breaks the American League record. If that matters anymore, I don't even know.
I mean, Tracy Stollard was the guy who gave up Maris's 61st, and people barely remember his name. I don't know. All right, I remember his name because I'm very into sports. If you ask a casual fan, they would have no clue.
Yeah, but casual fan doesn't know much anyway, so.
But the whole thing, who gave up Barry Bonds' 73rd home run? I mean, it was.
I don't know.
Nobody remembers. It would be the only people who would remember this would be Yankee fans. It's not going to be any kind of big like, oh, this guy he Judge crushed him, whatever. It just I just wish they would pitch to the guy. And Jack Curry actually got in a little Twitter beef with Ben McDonald, former Orioles pitcher, because he said that. Jack Curry basically said that they don't necessarily owe it to Judge to pitch to him, but they owe it to the game. Because if you're playing Major League Baseball, you're a competitor. And that competition is what the game is about. And Ben McDonald what a jerk he was. Said, obviously this guy never played the game. He went into one of those idiot rants.
Well, I hate when they say you never played the game. But
yeah, he said never played the game, never wore a jockstrap in his life.
Yeah, but you
what
know
a
what?
Clown.
He's probably seen more games than you.
Absolutely seen more games
that
than
means
him.
a lot too.
But the whole that whole argument is such a clown argument. It's what you say when you know you're wrong.
Well, because you say when you have nothing to add. I think that's better.
But when you make a comment like that, it's just so dumb. Because unless you played the game, you can't be an expert on the game. That's what Ben McDonald is saying? That's the most idiotic argument ever.
I agree. Let's get back to the Mets just quickly. At one point, the Mets were 10.5 games.
10.5, brother. It
Over
really
the
is.
Braves.
It really. I mean, it's been a collapse from the Mets to a certain extent, but
It
really,
is.
I'm not even going to put this on the Mets. I'm not going to demoralize Met fans even more than they're already demoralized, because the Braves have been outstanding.
They have
in the second half of the season. They've been crazy good, and if they had played the way that they played in the second half in the first half, the Braves would be looking at a record close to what the Dodgers have put up. They'd be at around 110 wins by now. So. You can, if you want to be a hater, you can blame the Mets and say, oh, well, the Mets, they collapsed. This is what they do. Why do I root for this team? I've seen all of that on every form of social media over the last 24 to 48 hours that, so many Met fans, I know they're going to lose Sunday. I know it's going to happen because it's a doom and gloom crowd because that's what they're used to. But this is more about the Braves being a really good team and finding players during the season. There's Harris kid who's a center fielder now. He came up from the minor leagues. Nobody knew his kid was coming. He's been phenomenal. The Vaughn Grissom kid who I think he's out with an injury right now. Who expected Kyle Wright to win 21 games this season? The guy didn't even have 21 career wins before this season. He's been phenomenal.
Yeah,
So the Braves have gotten a lot of contributions that nobody expected them to get this season. So you got to give them credit for that, and you got to give everybody in that organization some credit for getting the job done.
No, I agree. I mean, it's just that the Mets were in first place literally every day this year.
Almost. I mean, they certainly were in first place for the overwhelming majority of the season.
Yes, it was nice.
But the one time where I will say that yes, they faltered is these last few weeks when they were playing bad teams they weren't crushing them like they had to.
They should have destroyed several of these teams.
They lost. They got swept by the Cubs of all teams, and they've lost games to the Pirates and the Nationals. I mean, they've lost games that they couldn't afford to lose. And this now the situation that we're in is the result of that. The Mets are at this point. The Mets are a wild card team. If any Met fan is holding out hope for winning a division title, I'm sorry, you're delusional.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
It could happen.
No.
Will it happen? Probably not.
Don't make that bet.
I wouldn't make that bet. Now there's probably line on that now.
I'm sure there is.
But,
unless you get 1,000 to 1, I wouldn't make that bet.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But
literally, all the Braves have to do is win one game.
Right, and the Mets could actually win the 3, and the Braves only win 1. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So we'll see what happens. I mean, and it's also they have 3 games. Mets are at home tonight or tomorrow, I should say. I wonder if there's any rainouts. Do they go back?
I think it'll depend. I mean, I don't record-wise, I don't think it would impact the wild card. So it probably wouldn't.
They're way ahead of the wild card.
If they can play like a day-night doubleheader or something, if they can get it done, they will because they want the gate.
Yeah, they're also doing a thing. Come on down, $5 hot dogs and $5 sodas, and no fees on the tickets. It's like, come on, there should be no fees on the tickets or anything. If you go to Citi Field, there should not be a fee on a ticket.
I will tell the listeners, do not under any circumstances go to a game on the last day of the season.
Why?
Because all the players want to do is get out of there. You're going to see a game that lasts 2 hours and 10 minutes, and you're going to see a game where the players don't care. And it's everybody swinging at the first pitch or the second pitch because all they want to do is get the game over with. So you're going to see a game that has no competitive value whatsoever. Somebody's going to win 2-1 because somebody will hit a home run, and it's just players saying, "All right, we got another stop to make."
2 hour, 10-minute game would be fantastic.
Why?
I'm sick of going to 3 hour games.
Well,
so.
How about a game where guys are barely trying? That I don't want to see.
Well,
I'm not paying for that. I don't care. I don't care if they give me a $5 hot dog, which really isn't a bargain.
It isn't a bargain at all.
It should be like hot dog, and I'll think about it.
I know they have to clear out things. That's part of the reason they do this because they have to clear out things.
Right. They have inventory. They want to get rid of it.
Even though the Mets are going to be in the playoffs, usually it's like let's clear it out because what do they do with it otherwise? Maybe they donate it or something.
I'm sure they donate it to food banks or whatever.
They can donate it to Rob Leonard.
Yeah, there you go.
I like hot dogs.
We know.
Anyway, so the Mets still could get 100 wins and be in second.
Possible. I mean, I'll say this, brother. When the weekend started, coming into this, and we talked about it last week, the Mets this season had played well against the Braves when they needed to play well against the Braves.
That's right.
And I've been giving them credit for it all season because when the Braves started creeping up on the Mets at various times during the season, the Mets were able to beat them back and win games that they needed to win to hold on to first place. And this series over the weekend was the first time that didn't happen this season. And obviously it was the most critical time for it to happen. But that they needed, like I said, they needed one win. And it really is disturbing, especially to Met fans, that they couldn't get 1 out of 3 with the perfect rotation lineup that they had, DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett. That's I don't. How many $1 million worth of pitcher is that? 80, 70, $80 million worth of pitcher? It's probably
but they're
80.
also good pitchers. Even without the money, they're still good pitchers.
Well, that's why they're getting the money. But it's $80 million worth of pitcher there, and you can't get one win.
Yeah,
that's just bad.
Anyway, so let's get to the Yankees. Aaron Judge still at home run number 61. He has 4 games left. And also, what happens if there's a rain out or something?
It's Texas, bro. It doesn't rain.
Yeah, whatever. But you never know. But the Yankees are obviously winning the AL East. If you remember,
it's won already.
If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, Yankee fans were on the same ledge that the Met fans are on today.
No, not really. No,
come on, man.
That was other people putting the Yankee fans on that ledge.
Yankee fans are always compliant.
The Yankees league was never less than like 4.5 games. So was it getting tenuous? Yes, it was. But was anybody ever in a position where we could have on a Tuesday the Yankees be in first place and on a Wednesday somebody else be in first place? No, it was never like that. That was everybody else.
That's true, but Yankee fans.
No.
Yes.
That was other people putting the Yankees in that place. Oh, they're collapsing. They're playing like crap. First of all, in the last couple of weeks, the Yankees have been outstanding. All right, I wrote it down. Where was it? They had won like 9 out of 10 before they lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. Yeah, 9 out of 10, 2 out of 3 to the Orioles, dropped 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. So that means they've won 10 of their last 13.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
That's outstanding.
But Yankee fans are Yankee fans.
Oh, stop with
Much
that.
worse than Met fans.
No, not even close. Met fans expect doom to happen. Yankee fans expect World Series to happen.
And they haven't had one in
well, I'm saying that's what they expect, and then
years.
they get very angry and very knee jerk when it doesn't happen, and they want to trade everybody and unload people because they don't understand how difficult the World Series is to actually win. 2 starts from nobodies in a World Series, and you're done. That's what happens.
Yeah,
that's all it takes. 2 good starts from two guys who aren't very good. Otherwise, but
right.
they have good games. And you're cooked. That's baseball. That's the playoffs.
Understandable. So anyway, Aaron Judge still hasn't gotten 62, which, I hope he gets it. I mean,
so do I.
They've brought out the Maris family to support him. They've been very, of course, understanding about the record, and anything that reminds, I guess, the current baseball fan or the current baseball player even about Roger Maris is a good thing. So they're happy that their dad or grandfather, I guess, at this point.
No, dad.
It's dad still.
Dad.
Okay.
It's been the 4 kids, and Roger Maris Jr. made the trip up to Toronto.
Right.
But the whole family or all the kids anyway were in New York for the games against the Orioles. I don't know who's going to go to Texas. I'm assuming that Roger Maris Jr. will be there again, but I don't know if the whole family will show up. But Roger Maris's son, Jr., has made a bit of a controversial statement because he said that if and when Judge gets number 62, and I'm going to say when, that he will be the all-time home run leader for a season, and that means Roger Maris Jr. is rejecting the various season numbers that have been put up by Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa.
Right.
Because Bonds obviously had 73. McGwire and Sosa both had 2 seasons above 60, well, above 61 anyway. So he is rejecting that because of steroids.
Right, and of course the problem with that is that, as much as we know Barry Bonds' head exploded because of...
Well, it didn't explode. It just grew in size.
It grew in size. From perhaps, we don't know why, but we do. But, you still have to hit the ball. And I think that is part of it. Yes, you get more strength when you hit the ball when you're on the orange juice, but at the same time, it's tough to prove it. They'll always have an asterisk next to their names anyway. So,
well, there's one thing that I've been hearing that I very much liked. I will share it with you, brother. That there are six players in baseball history who have hit more than 60 home runs. 3 of them are alleged to have been on steroids, and 3 of them are Yankees.
Right.
So there you go.
Well, what's a Babe? Maris?
And Judge.
Oh, Judge. Oh. And remember, Babe Ruth had 59 at one point.
He also had 59 too. So does Stanton, though.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens. He has 4 games to prove it. Hopefully he gets it. It'd be nice if he got it.
Yeah, Judge didn't look too good yesterday. I wasn't happy with the swings. He looked like for the first time that he was actually trying to hit a home run because he was reaching for pitches. He struck out 3 times yesterday.
I don't blame him.
But he was trying to get his rips in. So and I mean, I didn't even think they were going to play yesterday with all the weather going on and everything. I was really surprised that they got a game in. But I mean, it surprised me from a weather standpoint. It didn't surprise me from a Judge standpoint because I'm sure they would have played the game in the rain to try to get him his at bats. But as far as the Yankees go, it's right now it's just they're kind of just cruising.
Well, hey, Nestor Cortez had a great game.
Nestor.
I mean,
he was nasty. He lived up to the nickname. Nasty.
He was really good, actually.
That was Saturday's game, brother. He was
Saturday's.
7 1/3 scoreless, 1 hit over 7 1/3, struck out tied a season high with 12 strikeouts. Just ridiculous. And his again 2.44 ERA is the lowest for a Yankee starter since Ron Guidry in 1978. That was the magical season of 1978 with the 1.74 ERA and the 25-3 record, the 248 strikeouts, all numbers that I don't need to look up because they are burned into my brain.
One of the greatest seasons ever.
Oh, ridiculous. So. But that's and Nestor Cortez is actually he's 3 1/3 innings shy of being eligible for the American League ERA title.
Would he win?
And no, right now Alec Manoa of the Blue Jays is at 2.42. But I think he has another start left, so he could easily go. I mean, if he lets up a couple of runs, and let's say he goes 6 innings, he gives up 3 runs. Chances are he's going to be above 2.44. But they're not going to throw Nestor out there for 3 innings anywhere. He's not going to get those innings.
He should.
No.
If he has a chance, I'd do it.
Well, it's highly unlikely. I mean, they could because the Yankees are going to have 5 days off.
Right.
So he's going to do a side session. He's going to do some live batting practice. He'll do something to kind of keep his pattern going, his routine.
See, I would have kept Cortez in, let him get a complete game.
No.
Yeah.
He'd already thrown more than 100 pitches, brother. He was already kind of to the point where he was gassed. Get him out. Let's not injure anybody before the season starts.
It anymore.
Let's not get anybody hurt before the playoffs. The Yankees got enough problems with pitchers, especially with their bullpen. Everybody's getting hurt again. So let's not burn out pitchers. All right?
Let's get him get a record, brother.
No.
Yeah, I'd let him get a record.
So DJ LeMahieu, he came back. He had I think it was a toe injury. I'm not even 100% sure about that. But he came back. The word is that even if he's hurting, he's just going to play through it because the postseason is a couple of weeks. Kind of like what Don Mattingly did back in '95.
Right.
Just before he retired, Mattingly got to the postseason and basically said, "Screw it! I'm just going to go all out with my swing, and if my back can't handle it, then I went out in a blaze of glory." And Donnie Baseball he killed the Mariners in that series and showed people that he can play in the postseason and excel in the postseason. But that was it for his career.
There was a story that came up on my phone from Major League Baseball, and it was about that home run he hit at Yankee Stadium.
Which one?
Against the Mariners in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And
let's charge into that one.
And the place was literally shaking.
Yeah.
And
Buck Showalter if there was a roof, it would have collapsed.
Buck Showalter was afraid that the roof of the dugout was going to collapse because there was cracks in the wall because of all the cheering.
Yeah.
I forgot which sports writer they interviewed, but he said that the press box was just shaking because the whole building was shaking.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
So,
it's happened.
Yeah.
I've been in it in 2001 when I was covering the World Series. I was in the press room underneath the stadium, and when Jeter hit his home run and when Brosius hit his home run, both times the whole room was shaking, and that's underneath the stadium. So yeah. It happens.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. So anyway,
injuries, brother, injuries. I'm just going to point out
quickly.
Zach Britton is back on the IL. Came back a year after Tommy John surgery, experiencing arm fatigue. He threw a crazy wild pitch the other day, and they took him out of the game and said that was it. That was, I believe, in Friday's game. So he's done. And Ron Marinaccio, who has been very impressive this season and was called called up because of so many injuries before him, left Sunday's game because of a flare-up of a shin injury that he says has been lingering all season. He's going to have an MRI today. So Clay Holmes has a shoulder that he's not going to pitch again until the ALDS. Wandy Peralta also has a back injury. So, and this is on top of Chad Green and Michael King, both of whom have missed at least half, if not most of the season with various injuries and surgeries. So, the Yankee bullpen, they keep piecing it together, but every one of these guys has been hurt this year.
Yeah.
So, what's his name? Chapman, who had that infection from the tattoo, he pitched, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Walked 3 guys.
Kids, don't get tattoos.
So it's just a mess.
Anyway, just
We'll
quickly, brother, looking at the wild card standings, you got Toronto, Seattle.
Yeah, bro, it's in the notes.
I know, but and Tampa Bay.
Right.
And in the Major League Baseball National League, you have the Mets, the Padres,
Well, likely
and the Phillies.
Mets. Likely the Mets and likely the Phillies, because the Phillies have a 2-game lead over the Brewers for the last wild card spot. So basically the Phillies, as long as they have the tiebreaker on the Brewers, all they have to do is win 1 game, just like the Braves.
Right. So, I mean, but the Mets, we already said.
And the Mariners, brother, ended the longest playoff drought in Major League Baseball. They clinched a wild card spot over the weekend.
Yeah, they did.
Now, if things remain the same, the Mets, if nothing changes between now and the end of the season, the Mets will face the Padres, and the Phillies would play the Cardinals in the wild card series.
Okay.
The winner of the Mets-Padres would get the Dodgers in the National League Division Series. The Braves would get the winner of the Phillies-Cardinals, which that sounds like an easy road for the Braves. I mean, obviously nothing is automatic, but I'd rather be the Braves in that scenario. As far as the American League, Toronto would play Seattle, and the Cleveland Guardians would play the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Guardians-Rays winner would face the Yankees in the ALDS, which, again, I mean, Toronto and Seattle, I kind of wouldn't mind being the Astros for that one. So that's where things are now, unless things change. But I don't think there's going to be too many changes between now and the end of the season. I think it's going to be, play out the string, get it done, and let's see where it goes.
And one thing more before we go to the break that just bothers me about this season. I know they gave a little extra days for the All-Star break.
No, just one. It's pretty much similar to what it was.
The season should have been over yesterday, and this whole thing where we have to wait until Thursday for the season to be over is ridiculous.
Why?
Because it automatically means there's going to be November baseball, and November baseball isn't the best time to play baseball, unless you're
colder.
Unless you're in Los Angeles or you're in a stadium with a roof or something. In New York, it's going to be cold if the Mets or the Yankees make the World Series. And,
it will be cold in the Bronx for the World Series.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
So that bothers me. It shouldn't be. I know why they're doing it. They want more playoff games. They want
the only way you can get more playoff games is if you extend the season.
Right, but
maybe they should think about reducing the schedule by at least a couple of games.
I don't know
whether it's 4 or 8 or something. Go back to 154 game schedule.
That would be nice. But then
will the owners sacrifice 4 home games?
No,
each?
Because they'd have to change all the contracts, and they're not going to.
I don't even think that would be the main issue. I think the main issue would be the fact that they would each have to say no to four gates. The Yankees would judge chasing the home run record. They were getting 45,000 a game.
Right.
For what basically would otherwise be meaningless.
Right.
September and October games that normally would have probably drawn about 20,000.
But you think that more people would show up knowing that they've already won, and
No.
just because you see, this is where people don't buy tickets in advance the way they used to, because those tickets would have been sold out in July. If you know your team is going to be really good in September, you want to see wins and.
Why? But if the division is clinched already, what's this?
Because you still want to
They're
see
not
your
playing.
team win. Yeah, but, you know.
Yeah, but you got more of a chance of seeing minor league guys. And I mean, Judge would have been rested. I'm sure Boone would have given him at least 1 or 2 days off if he wasn't chasing this record and chasing the Triple Crown. You know, I mean, the problem for Judge right now is he's 1 for 7 since he hit number 61. So his average has I don't want to say it's plummeted because he's down to like 311 now. But he's a couple points behind the Arias guy from the Twins. So and Arias has been taking a couple days off too. So he's kind of gained a little bit of an advantage that way because if he goes 1 for 4, his average is going down. So
Right.
you take a couple days off, it helps.
Yeah, so anyway, it's going to be a fun week. Let's go Mets. So probably doesn't matter. Anyway, you're listening to 90.3 WHPC from the press box. If you have a comment or question, give us a call, 516-572-7440.
Okay.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing. Check it out.
I'm going to name a slogan, and you guys are going to have to guess it. Question 1. Think outside the bun.
That would be Pornhub.
What?
Incorrect.
Burger King.
No.
Wendy's.
No.
It would be one that doesn't have a bun. It's Taco Bell. It's Taco Bell.
Correct. It is Taco Bell.
If it's outside the bun, why are you naming restaurants that have buns?
You named Pornhub.
It was a joke. It was a joke. You're supposed to be funny on these shows. I knew it wasn't Pornhub. I'm joking. And then Brandon's like, bun store. And then Jess is like, buns are us. A store that has buns. It's think outside the bun. Next question.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
It's Big Ed inviting you to join me Mondays from 10 till noon for the Good Gold Show. We've got the greatest hits of all time, all your faves of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. A whole lot of fun, and we'll keep you informed. Plus, we'll take your requests and your dedications.
Playing favorites.
So join me Mondays from 10 till noon for Good Gold on 90.3 WHPC, available on the Odyssey, iHeart, and WHPC apps.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 5 for 2 hours of Revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve K, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 5 on Revelations, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. I'm Rob Leonard. He's Tim Leonard. 516-572-7440. By the way, brother, name a movie this song has been used in for comedic effect.
No idea.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. Naked Gun?
No. Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers? Blues Brothers.
16 Candles.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
When?
When he's driving the kids, the guy's father's car.
Oh, with the blonde in there?
Yeah.
Were they playing this?
Yeah, they played this. Yeah.
Whatever.
By the way, people have misunderstood that scene where they're parked in the church parking lot. Everyone thinks that they actually had sex.
No.
The joke was they didn't have sex, but they thought they did. That was the joke.
Who didn't understand that?
Some idiot on the internet who started a contest on who was dumber, the person wrote it or the people answering her.
He was the one who was dumber. He didn't understand it.
Right, yeah. He was saying, oh, yeah. And she was too stupid to realize it also.
Hey, bro, I want to hear from Met fans. I want to hear what Met fans are thinking today. I want to hear if there's disappointment in Met fans. I want to be Met fans' Fraser Crane today.
Oh, yeah.
So when Met fans call in, I want to be able to say, I'm listening.
516-572-7440. Our friend Phil Staros is
Phil?
listening
Is he down in South Carolina?
Yeah, he said, listening from the hurricane-ravaged Myrtle Beach this morning. Hello, Phil. How you doing? So
hopefully Phil and his house and everybody down there is doing all right.
I hope so. So anyway, let's get to the NFL, brother, because that's what we have to talk about also. The Jets.
How about the Jets?
They won. What happened there?
Well, if you remember, brother, before the season started, we looked at the Jets schedule, and you can call it up if you want. But we looked at the schedule, and we started to say, all right, the schedule, first of all, was very difficult. But where were the wins? And the Steelers were the one game maybe in the first 8 where I said, okay, that's winnable. I don't know that they're going to win, but it certainly is winnable. And we kind of marked that one down as, okay, definitely not a loss or not an automatic loss.
Right.
And the Jets, let's face it, I liked what I saw from Zach Wilson yesterday. Because, first of all, I think he's been getting punished by the media, and I don't understand it. They call it the uneven rookie season. He's been getting criticized a lot for it's his rookie season. What do you expect? Trevor Lawrence was the number 1 overall pick. He had a worse rookie season. It takes time to learn how to be a quarterback in the NFL. And you know how you do that, brother? By being a quarterback in the NFL.
Well,
it's on-the-job training. You're going to
course.
get beat up, and it's probably going to be ugly for a little while before you learn how to be a quarterback in the NFL. Hell, Daniel Jones is still trying to learn how to be a quarterback in the NFL. And we're 4 years in. So I don't know why Zach Wilson gets criticized as much as he does when, let's face it, the Jets did not have a good team last year. He had maybe 1 target to throw to, and the line was it was sieve-like. So I don't understand it. But what I saw from Zach Wilson yesterday was a guy with some confidence, a guy with that swagger that he had in college. That was a big reason why the Jets picked him number 2 overall, because they liked that part of Zach Wilson. They liked the fact that he has a little bit of cockiness, he's got a lot of confidence in himself. But yesterday he showed, hey, this is what I can do. And it was, I saw it in one story, I forget where, I think it might have been ESPN, but that he came into the huddle for the last touchdown that they scored in the fourth quarter, and the Jets needed a field goal to tie the game. And Zach Wilson came into the huddle after the Jets got the ball back and said, "Hey, let's go score a bleeping touchdown." I like that.
Well,
He's not saying, "Oh, let's move the ball cautiously and let's go down the field and hopefully we can get a 40-yard field goal." No, let's get in the end zone.
That's what I always
Let's go
say.
win the damn game.
That's a Rob Leonard thing. You know that one. If you're within the 20, you go for it no matter what.
Well, it's not even that, bro. It's you're 65 yards away from the end zone with a few minutes left, and let's go win the damn game. Let's go do what other teams do, and let's show people we're getting
safe.
better.
Well, when it works, it's great. Let's be honest. When it works, it's fantastic.
But this is the Steelers aren't the best team in the league. Let's face facts.
No.
They have issues at quarterback. Kenny Pickett made his debut yesterday, the 20th overall pick in this year's draft, quarterback out of Pitt, who was picked by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Played fairly well, 10 for 13 for 120 yards. He had 3 interceptions, but 2 of those were deflected by his own receivers, and one of them was a Hail Mary on the last play of the game. So, had a decent debut. But Wilson, the only thing I didn't like about Wilson was completion percentage. But he was 18 for 36 for 252 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. He also caught a touchdown pass, brother.
That was great.
The Jets ran a little Philly special there.
I like those type of plays.
That made Zach Wilson the first Jets quarterback in franchise history to catch a touchdown pass.
Joe Namath, there we go.
Never. They didn't even know what a Philly special was back then.
No, Joe did the bootleg into
yes.
up in New Haven.
He did a few bootlegs like that. In fact, that's what Daniel Jones did yesterday. We'll get to him in a minute. But just let's face it. I'm not going to sit here and say that I had the Jets at 2-2 at this point in the season.
Not me.
I had them at best at 1-3. So the fact that they're 2-2 is actually encouraging. They play Miami next week. Who knows what's going on with Tua and the Dolphins? They could very easily, get that game and go to 3-2. And if they do, that would be phenomenal. And it would also be unexpected.
Well,
but it would be phenomenal.
tied. They'd be tied. Well, maybe tied for first, but
they're not anywhere near the Bills' class. So let's not even start that.
No, but they're 2-2. The Bills are 3-1. The Dolphins are 3-1.
But I'm just looking for improvement this year. I'm not going to sit here and talk about them in the same breath with the Bills because the Bills are a far better team than the Jets are. Far better. The Bills are a Super Bowl contender. The Jets are hoping to win 9 games. 9. In fact, 9 would be a great season for the Jets.
I would like 9.
So 9-8, if they could finish 9-8, I'd be thrilled. The Jets would be thrilled. Saleh would be thrilled. Zach Wilson would be thrilled. Everybody would be thrilled. Sauce Gardner would be thrilled. I just like saying Sauce Gardner. So, from that standpoint, great game for the Jets. The big play, brother, the big play of the game, defensive back Michael Carter II, diving interception with 3:34 remaining. That gave Wilson a chance to go on that game-winning drive. 3:34 for a last drive like that to go 65 yards. That's plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. That's. I mean, if you're a quarterback and you have that much time to go downfield, if you don't get a touchdown to win the game, you're not doing your job. But if you give somebody like Brady or Aaron Rodgers or guys like that, if you give them 3:34 to go 65 yards. They're scoring a touchdown.
You hope
it's
so.
Automatic.
You hope so.
So, a very nice step yesterday for Zach Wilson coming back from the knee injury, the knee surgery that he had. He missed obviously the first 3 games. Now we can put Joe Flacco back on the bench, which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. And let's hope that Zach Wilson stays healthy for at least a half a dozen games. And can start putting the rest of the season. Start putting a season together. I don't take quarterback health for granted in the NFL, brother. The quarterbacks get hurt all the time. You got so many just giant human beings coming after these guys and looking to just plant them into the ground. Look what happened to Tua.
I know.
I mean, it wasn't even a violent hit. I mean, the guy wasn't trying to kill him or anything, but the way the play happened and the way he flipped around. It was, I mean, I don't want to necessarily put it all on the lineman who did it, but at the same time, how do you not do what he did? He had him by the legs, the leverage just flipped him around and hit him. He hit his back and his head again, and anybody who saw the replay, it was horrifying. With his fingers all locked up, and that's they said it on the game. It's a sure sign of a brain injury.
Yeah,
and we don't know if the week before, not even a whole full week before, the thinking is that he had a concussion and it was just misdiagnosed or poorly diagnosed, and they sent him back out there. So if he's had 2 concussions within 5 days of each other, Tua shouldn't play for a month, if not longer. I mean, there are some people out there saying that Tua shouldn't play the rest of the season. Because we're talking about long-term health here. 2 concussions in 5 days is bad. There's no magic word to say it's bad, and it should not happen. So
the NFL should get. Joe Namath talked about this with his concussions. He did that thing where they freeze you basically for 3 minutes. You ever heard about
cryogenics?
Yeah.
Well,
he said it worked.
Well, whatever. I mean, whatever.
He said he felt better, much better afterwards.
Whatever they can do to help, they need to do. But part of what they need to do is proper diagnosis. And I mean, Tua was the one, and this is what bothers me. Tua was the one who said that it was his back, and he was the one saying, well, it wasn't my head, and that's why I went back out there and whatever. But the doctor who made the diagnosis got fired this week. I don't know if that's scapegoating. Or if it's the NFL's way of
the NFL's way of scapegoating.
Well, but it was the Players Association also that was involved in the decision to get rid of the guy. So somewhere at some point, people aren't doing their jobs or what they said they were going to do as far as concussion protocols, and you can't ever let players be the ones making those decisions, because if a player is concussed, the player's first reaction is always going to be put me back in. I need to go out and win this game. That is always going to be their first reaction. You have to. The person who is making the medical decisions needs to be the person to say no. You can't go back in.
Yeah,
because your head is damaged.
Most players aren't doctors. They don't recognize a concussion. It's not like
they know when they feel weird.
Well,
let's say they don't feel right, but they're not going to acknowledge it because in their entire lives and their entire careers they've been told, "Oh, you got to tough it out. You got to be a man." And if you have a concussion, fine. You go back in, you get hit again. Now your brain is swimming around in your head, and you're going to wind up doing all kinds of damage.
No, I agree with that. So we'll see what happens with that. But the AFC East is really a strong division right now.
Look at the Jets ahead of the Patriots, brother. Look at that. Look at that.
2-2.
Beautiful.
Patriots are 1-3.
Jets 2-2. Patriots 1-3. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this for 20 years for the Patriots, brother. Been waiting for it. We're here. Belichick's retiring after the season. He's not going to be able to handle it.
He might.
He's not going to be able to handle it. They had somebody named Zappy playing quarterback yesterday. I was laughing. I couldn't stop laughing.
Zappy?
Zappy was his name. Third string quarterback because the second string guy got hurt. Zappy.
Yeah. Maybe Belichick can get concussion problems or something.
Anyway, brothers, let's move on to the Giants.
Okay.
Giants defeated the Bears yesterday, 20-12. Speaking of quarterbacks getting hurt, Daniel Jones sprained his ankle, had to come out of the game. Tyrod Taylor comes in. He was literally in the game for about 10 minutes and got drilled. Concussion protocol, had to come out of the game. Giants wind up running Wildcat. Saquon Barkley was taking snaps.
Yeah.
Quarterback Saquon. So Daniel Jones Daniel Jones, they wound up just taping the hell out of his ankle. And Daniel Jones came back in.
How do you if you have a twisted ankle or hurt ankle, how the hell I've hurt my ankle several times.
If you tape the hell out of it. You're basically putting a whole roll of tape on it. They might have given him a little bit of a shot. You don't want to. You can't really do a shot with an ankle because you need to be able to feel it when you're running. Because otherwise you could do a lot worse damage and you wouldn't even know.
Right, I know that. That's
they might have. I doubt they did anything for it. They probably just gave him a handful of Advils or something. But they maybe could have put a tiny bit. Just like a little tiny shot. But probably not. But he came back in. He wound up playing like receiver a couple of times as a decoy.
Right.
Because what could the Giants do? You dressed two quarterbacks. Both of them are hurt. Now what?
Isn't the punter's job to be the backup quarterback?
Well,
to the backup?
some teams have had punters who can play quarterback. That's a possibility. But Saquon said he goes it was like playing backyard football when you're a kid.
Yeah, well.
That's it. When Saquon would just take the snap from one of his friends and just start running and just destroy people. But that's what the Giants were up against yesterday. But 20-12, you can't argue with it. So I was very pleased. I wasn't pleased with Jones. He was 8 for 13 for 71 yards passing, which not good, but it was only like for about a little more than a half. 68 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And like I said before, when you talk about Joe Namath, 2 naked bootlegs to the left, and the Bears must have forgotten that he took the snap or something because they were going after Saquon, who had 146 yards yesterday, another monster game for Saquon. But when Daniel Jones ran the ball, they were mystified. It was like they were saying, "Who's that? Who's that? I don't. Who is that guy?"
Yeah, it's just watching. Hey, wave, wave.
Number 8, who are you? Why do you have the ball? So, it was a couple of field goals. Giants were leading at halftime. Then Graham Gano kicked a couple of second-half field goals, and the Giants' defense held it together. And the Bears' offense isn't that good, which obviously helped the Giants yesterday. But Giants, like I said, Jones passed for 71 yards. The rushing offense, though, for the Giants, 262 yards. That's some old-time Giants football right there. So much for this run and shoot nonsense that they keep talking about.
Joe Morris days,
That's any Giants team, any great Giants team would have put up numbers like that. So that's good to see. Ball possession, control. The Giants had 5 sacks of Justin Fields, who it seems like every week is losing confidence or losing the confidence of Chicagoans. because he hasn't been able to get it done. Here's another guy. That's another guy who he's somebody who deserves to get killed for not getting it done. This guy's been given a starting job and has not been effective at all. But again, doesn't have a whole lot around him. So that's when you're a quarterback, you need to have players around you. And that's been some of the criticism of Daniel Jones is that he's had multiple offensive coordinators, multiple coaches. He doesn't have a lot of weapons. This year he's got weapons. And Kenny Golladay is like the forgotten man. They're paying this guy $18 million. He's getting one target a game. So somehow something needs to happen with Kenny Golladay after the season, because why bother having the guy? Why bother having him on the payroll for $18 million if you're not going to use him?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Anyway, right now the Giants are 3-1. The Jets are 2-2. Who would have thunk we'd have winning football in New York at this point?
I'm telling you. It's
Not
awesome.
right now.
It's awesome.
Quickly, brother, the Islanders beat the Flyers in exhibition hockey.
How about that?
Their season starts on October 13th, which is in 10 days, at the UBS Arena against the Florida Panthers. And we look forward to that.
Definitely looking forward to some
I don't know
hockey.
if they finished the train station over there. That's going to be a big thing over in Elmont.
Let's hope so.
And hopefully that parking garage is fixed, and they're going to be charging a lot of money to park there.
Probably.
I don't know which car it is, so I won't say it, but there is a certain car that if you drive it, you don't have to pay your parking pass for the year.
Really?
Yeah, I forget which car it was.
That's a good perk.
Yeah.
Probably an expensive car, though.
It's an expensive car, yeah. So you get the whole thing with that, which is unfortunate. Anyway, brother, quickly. By the way, brother, there was an article. They did the London football yesterday
at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and
there was a story on how they did it. They literally have a movable field.
Yes, I've told you this, brother.
Yeah.
They have a one of the fields rolls out, and they bring in a field turf field. The soccer pitch with the real grass is able to be rolled out. They have it on wheels, and they roll it out. They take out some of the seating because the NFL field with the big sidelines is wider than a football pitch.
Right.
So it's all a big process.
Yeah,
it's outstanding.
The article I read, and I forgot where I read it, but there's this whole thing about when they were building it, they knew they wanted to be NFL. They want to have NFL games
money
there.
to be made.
So they said, okay, how do we do it? We want to do this, and they came up, NFL and the company.
The NFL chipped in a little money for the stadium, little, very little, but a little. It was like, the stadium cost almost $1 billion to construct. I think the NFL kicked in about $20 million.
Yeah, but that helps remove some seats. So.
Wow. But there was the double stoink at the end of that game, brother. The Saints kicker hit on a 61-yard field goal game, hit the left upright. The ball nicked off the left upright, hit the crossbar, and bounced out.
Yeah.
So the double stoink, the rare double stoink.
You don't see that.
Very disappointing.
I feel bad for the guy. You hit one and then you hit the second one.
Well, he made a 60-yarder not earlier in the game.
Right.
Didn't make it by much, but the 61, I thought it was good. And they needed yardage that they didn't get, and they were basically hoping that this guy could make it. And chances are if the kick would have been a little straighter, it would have been good, like by a lot. The ball hit a couple, several feet up the upright.
Right.
So he would have been good.
And MLS soccer, of course, is still going because they don't know how to end a season either. Anyway, they're
why be critical, bro?
Because there's a lot of things. One day we're going to have the commissioner on,
I'm
going to be
not letting you talk to him.
I'm going to get him on. I'm going to not tell you. I'm going to say, Tim, we have a surprise guest.
No, Dan Quartermont will tell me.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will. He's my friend.
Well, okay. Well, anyway, the Red Bulls and the New York City FC, the team's still looking for a name. They're doing well, brother, aren't they?
Well, NYCFC, brother, clinched a top 4 finish
right.
With a 2-1 victory over Orlando City SC on Sunday. You will remember that your favorite team, NYCFC, is the reigning Major League Soccer champions.
Yes, I know.
But like I said, now they've secured a top 4 finish, and with it a home playoff game. The Red Bulls were shocked. Derek Etienne Jr., a former member of the Red Bulls, tied it in the 89th minute, and then scored again in the 3rd minute of stoppage time to give the Columbus Crew a 2-1 victory over the Red Bulls, which disastrous finish to that game. The Red Bulls have 50 points. The Red Bulls are actually right behind NYCFC, but they are in 4th place. They have not yet clinched a home playoff game, but there's one game left in the season. So if the Red Bulls win that game, that would clinch a home playoff game for them.
Okay.
Also, brother, soccer with the Premier League. Arsenal defeated my Tottenham Hotspur, visiting Tottenham Hotspur, 3-1 in the North London derby. I do want to point out there was an atrocious call in the second half. Tottenham defender Emerson Royale was given a straight red for a foul that was barely yellow card worthy. I don't know what this ref was thinking, but took the match away from Tottenham. As soon as the red card was given, it was all right. I could have turned the game off.
Yeah.
But it was just really disappointing. Manchester City destroyed Manchester United in the Manchester derby 6-3.
Okay.
Brutal for Man U.
Anyway, just a reminder, brother, join Rita Monte on Thursday, October 6th, that's this Thursday, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. for 3 hours of Profumi d'Italia. This special fundraiser show features great music, unique interviews, and guest call-ins. Don't miss this opportunity to support the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. And coming up next at 10 o'clock, where is Big Ed, by the way? Is he here?
Big Ed?
90.
Oh,
there
the
he
door
is.
opens.
Door opens as soon as we say that.
There he is. Big Ed was mesmerized by the soccer talk.
Yes, of course. So Big Ed's ready. You know what that means.
By the way, brother, Brighton came back for a 3-3 draw with Liverpool. And I want to be the first one to say it publicly. Liverpool is not a contender for a title this year. I know you're a big fan. I know you like the Liverpools, but they're in 9th place right now. And they have 10 points. Brighton is in 4th place. So you could say it was a bad result for Brighton. And that's not a good thing for Liverpool. They're just not playing well. And last result, Chelsea got a very late goal to make Graham Potter a winner in his Premier League debut, 2-1 over Crystal Palace.
Okay, that just about does it for From the Press Box. My name is Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. We're here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This show becomes a podcast later on. Coming up next at 10 o'clock, Big Ed Newlands playing the good gold. The oldies you don't hear on the radio anymore. I hope you get to listen. Thank you for listening. I'll see you Friday with Beatles songs. Take care and bye-bye.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHPC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.